Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Choose a Happy Day show. My name is Lorraine Toth, and today I am back here with Deborah Hanlon.
Hello, we're back.
And today we're going to conquer a lot of topics. Last time we talked, it was about dating and relationships. Today it's about life and actually after death, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's all connected.
It's all connected, literally.
So the thing that I wanted to talk about today is I've been going through this phase, and I call it blow my life up phase, where I just want to basically blow up my life. I want to change it up. I want to start over like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Is that something for my age group, or is this common in women after, their baby bird has left the nest? Mm-hmm. What is this?
What is this? It's so unpleasant.
It is unpleasant.
It's very unpleasant. It usually leads up. Circumstances lead up to, this phase that you're in. So it is super unpleasant what leads to it. But I'm leading a retreat in Costa Rica in March of 2025. And this is all we're talking about. The whole theme of the retreat is all about what I call Goo Phase.
Oh, why Goo Phase?
Goo Phase. So the backstory to Goo Phase is my whole life I've had very clear vision of what I wanted, what's next, what am I going after. Some of it was just being on survival mode, automatic pilot, just have to keep showing up for my kids and so on and so forth. So survival mode serves us well. It directs us. It makes us go.
Yes.
So there's that. But my whole life, I always had a goal, something to go for. And right after COVID, I was going to say 9/11, paging Dr. Freud. Yikes. So right after COVID, I actually got a lot of great opportunities because of COVID. It forced me to pull back a lot, and that was unbelievably helpful. It's probably the first time I was not in survival mode at that point, which is very contrary to what everybody else had. And about a year later, about 2021, 22, I realized I had no vision, no goal, nothing to work for. I was just kind of in that Groundhog Day experience. And it wasn't unpleasant, but I was like, this is so not me. What's going on? And I decided for the first time to lean into it, to not have a goal, not have a vision, not know what's next. So essentially what you're talking about is your old self is done for all the reasons that our old selves should be done. Our old self needs to die away quite regularly. And that's the occasion when a new self emerges. So during that time in my life, I just leaned into it. I just thought, okay, I can't force a vision. I don't care enough to have a vision. I don't know where to go. And so I started to get this imagery of I was a caterpillar and I'm just going into my cocoon.
Okay.
And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, so I'm in the cocoon. I feel a little safer. Things were a little stable. That doesn't necessarily mean good, but things were the same, steady. And I realized, oh, I'm at that point where that caterpillar, when it goes into the chrysalis, it just becomes goo. It completely breaks down into goo, and it's nothing.
Yes.
And so I imagine, if I was a caterpillar, does the caterpillar know it's nothing?
No.
No, it can't. Or maybe it does, but it's trusting what's next.
Trusting the process.
It's trusting the process. So Goo Phase is this phase that it's not necessarily good. It's not necessarily bad. It's very unclear. You don't know what's going on. You don't know where to go. Your intuition feels off. It's not. It's just you're in that latent period of the old is melting away so the new can reassemble.
Oh, okay.
So you're in Goo Phase.
I guess I'm in Goo Phase. So how long does Goo Phase last? Because I journal every day, and it's just been the same. It's been consistent, maybe 6 months. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready to blossom now. Can we make this happen?
Totally.
But I don't know what to blossom and be the butterfly and where to land.
Exactly. And that's Goo Phase.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't know. And you're not even necessarily pulled to any one place. You might try a few things. That's the year I got yoga certified, and I took all these different certification courses in hopes that something would light a fire for me. me. And they did. I was happy I did them, but it wasn't about that thing. So how long does it last? You don't know.
Oh.
Everybody hates that. It's different. It's not short. It's not like, oh, I was in Goo Phase for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately, that's not it. It's a phase of really a grief phase too, a grieving of what was, a grieving of what was, and even the conflict in yourself of being happy that what was is no longer is, but grieving the fact that you're not clear about what's next.
Okay.
So it's a very conflicting time, kind of confusing, but it's also a numbness there too.
Yes.
So you're just like, I don't know. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Who am I? Who do I want to be? If I only knew, then I'd pursue that. But this is the time to just let the goo kind of disassemble your old self. And as time moves on and you're vigilant to yourself, like the journaling every day and the inner work and really diving into self-discovery practices, whatever that means for each person, it starts to come back together. The pieces start to form and you're still moving into that butterfly phase. And I'm not fully out of my goo phase, but I'm definitely starting to see and feel like, oh, I'm something. Not really sure what yet. And there'll be an emergence out of the chrysalis. So we don't know how long.
Okay.
Just be patient with it and vigilant to your process.
Okay, I am. And so anyone that's listening and feels like they also want to blow up their life, any tips? Like they should obviously go to your Costa Rica retreat.
Totally.
Right?
It's all about, it's the sacred cocoon, and it's all about really leaning into mindful metamorphosis of learning how to trust.
Okay.
Trust the process. That's literally what the whole thing is about. So yes, they can come to my retreat.
Come to the retreat. And then in the meantime, maybe do daily journaling and self-work and reflect on how they feel?
Reflection. There's so many different things, and I'll give a few. And if they resonate for people, they resonate. But if they don't, these aren't the only things to do. But anything that really you examine your past, you examine what was, and you take note in not such a blameworthy way. Like we don't need to blame our parents. We don't need to blame our ex-spouses. We don't need to waste time on blame, although blame comes up.
Yes.
That's normal. But it does kind of slow us down when we stay in blame and really look at what was sort of what worked for us and what didn't.
Okay.
It's really what you want to see. What did you like and what did you not like?
Okay.
And start paying attention to that. When what you didn't like emerges again in the now, you're going to say to yourself, ooh, I watched that movie before. I didn't like it the first time. I'm not watching this again. I'm not doing this again. So really being vigilant to your patterns, to what shows up. But it's important to do it in a safe, mental space of self-compassion.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, there I go again. Why do I always mess things up? See, I am lazy. It's a time to really pay attention to that inner dialogue.
Okay. So my inner dialogue is telling me to move and buy a house on the water. So is that like something I should listen to? Like how will they know when to listen to that inner dialogue?
So what keeps coming up over and over, what you're gravitated towards, it might seem not possible, but there's a reason why we have something in our heads. There's a reason why you have this, I want to buy a house on the water. There's a reason it's there. So listen to the reason. Just keep following the reason. And the mind is really difficult, right? The brain is really difficult. And it's going to tell you like, oh, yes, go for it. Yes, yes, I got it. And then the next day it's going to say, you're crazy.
You're crazy.
That's never going to happen.
Yes.
Like you need to grow up and you need to this and that. So be aware of it. You just have to be aware of that inner dialogue. Write out your inner dialogue. That's really, really important because we are so unaware of what we are constantly telling ourselves. And how do you know what you're telling yourselves, or how do I know what's good in my life and what thoughts are good or bad? The areas of your life that are going well, according to yourself, you have positive or favorable inner dialogue.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Any areas of your life that are not going well, according to you, you have negative or unfavorable dialogue. That's as simple as it is.
So if they're writing in their journal or their diary at home, would that be an example of, I'm so overweight? that's unfavorable, right? Or
Absolutely.
I love my job. I just got a promotion. That's favorable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Things always work out for me. Things are effortless. You ever meet somebody who says like, I don't know, I'm so lucky. I always win things.
Yeah.
And they do.
They do.
So it's really, our inner dialogue is quite literally the programming that we send out. It's the signal we send out, the vibrational signal behind our thoughts that we send out to the universe. And the universe goes, oh, I got that program. I know that. They're lucky. They always win. Here's $100.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's the inner dialogue is so important to pay attention to.
And try to steer clear of the negative self-talk, right? Probably, and reframe that maybe.
Reframe it. Or first stop, it's not going to change overnight. It's not. This is a process. It's like a muscle. We don't lift a weight one time and then have perfect, amazing biceps.
Yes.
So this is a muscle we must develop. And it's a practice of inner awareness, self-awareness, mental dialogue.
Okay.
So you'll notice it and you'll go, wow, I didn't even realize how negative I am. Which, by the way, everybody always says, I am such a positive person. And I will say, no, you're not.
You're lying.
And that's okay. You're lying to yourself. Or you're very unaware of where your negative dialogue is.
Yes.
We all want to be positive. We all want to be living a life of light and energy and helping others and doing well. We all want that. Very few people don't want that. And I don't know that there really is anyone on the planet who wants to live a terrible life.
No.
Literally.
Yeah.
So we all want that, but all of a sudden, if we don't do the inner work and pay attention to ourselves, we're going to look on the outside and say, see, this is why this sucks. And this is why that doesn't work. And well, I had the ex-spouse from hell, or I had the worst parents, and those things may be true. We're not saying they're not true, but it is the most unempowering state of mind to be in when we keep giving power to the external forces.
Yes.
So we've got to be aware. Oh, I keep hearing over and over, I hate humans. People are so bad. I'm so tired of people. Those people who are saying that, you're on social media 24/7. I know you are.
Yes. And you're pretending your life is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. On top of it.
Yes.
Exactly. You're the people that everyone hates. You're the problem.
Yes.
And
it's not me.
Right. And I want people to say, oh, I'm the problem.
Yes.
Because that is the only place change is going to happen.
Okay.
And everybody wants it to be something else. We all do. It's so much easier. It would be so much easier. But the point is, if we're adults, children are a different topic. They don't have control over their lives. Adults, if we think humanity is bad, if we think such and such is the problem, you're the problem.
Okay.
Your inner dialogue is the problem for yourself.
Yes.
And people hate to hear that.
They do.
They want polypositivity.
Yes.
They want, oh my gosh, no, I always look at the bright side. I hope you do. I hope you do try. But that's not where the change is going to happen. The change is going to happen with the real, brutal, honest, authentic truth of what we're talking about to ourselves.
Okay. And it's much
painful.
more, and it's empowering though, right? Like if you stop putting the blame on other people, you can actually look inwards and say, oh, it's me. I'm the problem.
Totally.
But then you can fix it, right?
Absolutely. That's why I love Taylor Swift.
Yes.
She's got the song.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me. I'm the problem.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Finally, that idea is now up in the collective conscious.
Yes.
Because of one song. And that sounds silly, but our collective activity and what we are seeing and hearing does raise our awareness.
Yes.
So that was a really positive thing that she put out there because I'm like, yes. Finally, yeah.
Yes.
And it's not I'm the problem, woe is me, see, I always do this, blah, blah, blah. It's not that.
Yes.
It's a grabbing hold of, I see why this is happening this way.
This pattern.
You might not know what to do with your inner dialogue yet. That's fine. The first step is noticing.
Yes.
Awareness.
Or awareness, the first step.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Women who always date cheaters, I guarantee you have the inner dialogue that says all men cheat.
Yes.
I'll always be left. Nobody will really love me. That's inner dialogue. And it's showing up in your partner.
Yes.
It's not their fault. And I'm not victim blaming and none of that as well. There's accountability across the board. It's, so I don't want anyone to come at me saying, that's terrible to say. However, I want people empowered.
Yes.
There's nobody on this planet that is unempowered. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are many people who are completely not able to do what we're doing. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're in the empowerment.
You probably want to do better,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not sitting somewhere starving in a country that's war torn.
Yes.
You're not that person.
You have control.
You have control. I know it. And how do I know that? Because you've got a phone to listen to this.
Or they're watching on
device.
YouTube, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you have some sort of device. You're in the luxury crew.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next question, how your parents treated you or how you observed growing up, how does that play out into your future? So, for example, if chaos was a daily episode in your home, do you then try to recreate that in your adult life? Like, mom and dad are fighting or dad is drinking and hitting mom. And then do you go and recreate that unknowingly into your adult life?
You most often do. And nothing's an absolute. It's not like, oh, if dad was a drinker, then I'm going to recreate that. It's not an absolute. It always happens. However, if your brain is formulated in your early years with chaos, chaos is normal. Chaos is familiar. So if chaos is familiar and normal to you, what are you going to gravitate towards? We always, as human beings, the thing we hate the most is uncertainty. We hate discomfort. So it sounds wild, but when we are in chaos, chaos feels good because we recognize it. This is familiar. So it's comfortable. So there's an illusion of some sort of certainty in it. So you will recreate that in some way. Maybe you won't be in an abusive relationship, but maybe finances will be so chaotic you'll never feel secure. It doesn't have to be like mom was in a bad relationship, I'm going to be in a bad relationship, but chaos in general. The energy that you're sort of cooked in as a kid is the energy that's familiar. So we'll gravitate towards it until we go, oh, no. This isn't the way it has to be. This isn't my core self. This isn't who I am and what I want. And then you start making those changes, which are difficult.
Yes, because it feels unfamiliar. So if you find, that calm relationship where everything's stable and it's not you're fighting every other day, it feels off and weird. And you're like, I need to cause a fight, right? Just to feel like you're normal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because you're hypervigilant. You've learned to be hypervigilant to anything can happen at any time. And if it's not happening,
I'm going to make it happen.
I'm going to make it happen because it's going to happen soon. So I might as well be the one to make it happen.
Yes.
And all this is on the level of the unconscious. It's not like we're really even that aware of like, yes, let me pick a fight right now. It's unconscious. If it was conscious, it would be much easier to identify in the moment.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So again, watch out. What are your patterns, right?
Where are your patterns? And your patterns aren't bad. Your parents aren't bad. Like it's not a bad, good thing. It's just, this is what this is made of. And does this resonate for me?
Okay.
That's it. Do I resonate on this level? Do I agree with this? Is this in alignment with who I feel I am on the inside and what I want my life to be?
Okay. And if it's not,
And if it's not, then you go, oh, okay, then I need to change a few things around.
Okay. Perfect. My next question is, when you feel anxiety about something, is it because you know it's the wrong choice and your intuition knows that? Like when you get that anxious feeling about, maybe buying a home or taking this other job and like you're so anxious, like, is that a sign? Don't do this?
Such a great question. It's hard to say. It's hard to know. As an intuitive, when I make decisions, it doesn't mean I'm not nervous. So our intuition and anxiety are sometimes very hard to distinguish. And one way to notice is it a pattern for you to always be anxious? Is this something you're always anxious about? I was speaking to someone recently and she always has wanted to travel to Europe. And it's been her life dream. And she's getting older, according to herself. And she's terrified to fly. So she says that, I really don't think Italy and Europe is in the cards for me because something bad might happen. That's a old tape of anxiety. That's not your intuition.
Okay.
Because it keeps coming up. It's a fear that she has.
Yes.
So that's not an intuition. But sometimes we like to blame our intuition. Like, yeah, my gut's telling me not to go. No, your brain's telling you not to go because you have fears around that thing. So if it's something that keeps showing up regularly, it's most likely a fear, not your intuition.
Okay. But if it's a new thing, like, oh, I was offered this job and you sit with it and you feel like that anxious, like nervous energy, right? Like you're shaky. That's anxiety maybe in your intuition.
But starting anything new most likely will elicits some sort of level of nerves. Again, it goes back to humans. We hate uncertainty. We will do anything, including staying stuck and keeping the same life we have over and over, just even though we're miserable, just because it's familiar and we're too scared to go outside of that realm. So anything we're starting new, there's going to be anxiety. There's going to be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm a little scared. And that's the wall that you've got to push through. So if you're feeling anxious about making a change, normal, do it anyway.
Okay.
If you're making a decision, going out on a date, and your body is like, no, no. Listen.
Yes. It might be a red flag, right?
It might be a really giant red flag.
Okay.
The body is really good at telling us information.
Okay.
So we don't want to ask the brain, like, oh, why am I feeling so nervous? Because the brain's going to get in the way. The body, sit with it. If the body's giving you a no feeling,
yes,
it's a no.
Okay.
If the body's giving you a yes feeling, but I'm nervous, it's a yes. If the body's giving you a full-blown yes, that's easy. If the body's giving you, I'm not sure, then wait.
Okay.
I always say in my workshops, I don't know is an answer. Like if we're asking ourselves a question, we're like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what I want. That's an answer. That's not, okay, pick a way. It's I'm sitting in the I don't know, which is Goo Phase.
Okay. It doesn't have to be A or B. It can be C, B.
Absolutely.
All of the above. Right?
All of the above, and I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Yes, that's really important because we were conditioned to never be allowed, like as students in school, we were really never allowed to say, I don't know. What's the answer to number 4? I don't know. Well, okay, now let's talk about it, blah, blah, blah. And we're called out and we're usually feeling embarrassed because we don't know or whatever's going on. So opening space for yourself to be okay to not know something is such an amazing door.
Okay.
It's really helpful.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
So I don't have to make these pros and cons lists? No? Because that's more using your brain and
Well, you can because that can help. There's different tools you can. If that is making you, if you're still weighing on the black and whiteness of the pros and cons, you might have 90 cons but 2 pros, but still feel like, I don't know though, this feels right to me. Then do it.
Then go with
even though
2.
you don't. Right. Exactly.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
And there's a lot of thing with timing with intuition and knowing. And I give this analogy a lot, and people say it's so helpful. And I do think we'll take the time to share this. But
yes, let's help them.
Yes. So like the I don't know thing is, it's not that you're lacking intelligence or intuition. If I asked you right now, as we're recording this in July, if I asked you today, what are you going to do for Thanksgiving this year? Where are you going to go? What are you going to cook? What are you going to wear? What are you going to talk about?
Yes.
How are you going to feel? What'd you have for dessert? What time do you leave? You would look at me and say, I have no idea. That's like, why are you even asking that?
Yes.
That's kind of the analogy of like, that's what we do. Like, who am I going to be when I grow up? We're asking all these big questions. We want all the details. We don't know. But if I asked you a month before Thanksgiving, where are you going to go? You might have an answer to that. Yes. What are you going to bring? You might have an answer to that. The rest, you still wouldn't.
Yes.
A week before, you're going to know where you're going to go. You're going to know what you're going to bring. You probably will know what you're going to wear.
And what hair I'm going to wear.
And what hair, totally. But if I ask you the day of, you're going to have a lot more information. Yes. And if I ask you the afternoon of and the evening of, you're going to have all the answers.
Yes.
So sometimes not knowing is just a matter of timing and what we have informed. And if we can remember that, we can find like some solace in that and relief in, it's not that I don't know and I'm not accessing intuition and I'm not smart or anything. It's just you don't have all the information yet.
Okay.
That's it.
Just stay in that Goo Phase, right?
Stay in that Goo Phase. Right. It's really a beautiful thing.
So let's talk about like what actually happens on your retreat in Costa Rica. In case someone's watching or listening and they're like, I'm so much in this Goo Phase. Even me, 6 months now in this Goo Phase. What can they expect if they come to Costa Rica with you?
So Costa Rica, where we go specifically is a place called Mystica. And I don't speak in terms of like something's magical, right? That's not really my vernacular, except when I'm talking about this space. The energy that the owners, Lori and Francesco, have created around their center is what lays the foundation for this container of complete spiritual support. And what happens during there is something I can't even describe, but we do a series of workshops. We'll meet a series of healers. We do equine horse therapy with these phenomenal facilitators who really pulls out in you some of those things you didn't even know you needed to work on. So lots of meditation, lots of going inward, lots of journaling in this one. I don't normally do a lot of that, but a lot of journaling in this one coming up in March 25. A lot of connection with each other, real, raw, authentic connection, not the surface. Oh,
everything is great.
Everything's great.
No, you can say, right? I want to leave my marriage. I hate my job. My kids are assholes, right? You can say the whole thing,
all of
right?
It.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay.
Authentic honesty in a safe space of non-judgment and pure work. I mean, that is just miraculous healing. So that's just the tip of the iceberg in Costa Rica.
Sounds like some people might need to go and resonate with that. Costa Rica is my favorite place, by the way. I love Costa Rica.
There's such an energy there.
It's true. It's like blossom. Like, maybe that's where I turn into a butterfly.
Maybe. When I touched ground there, when my plane landed, I've never felt this before in my life. I felt all of my energy merge and melt into the earth there. And I was like, what is this?
Ooh. Is that grounding? Is that also known as grounding?
It was a grounding on a level that I didn't even know was possible. It was a merging of like a cellular merging. Like I could not tell the difference energetically. Of course, I knew I was me, but I could not tell the difference between what the ground was and what was me because it was all one. And I've led four retreats there, and every time I'm testing it, like maybe that was just a good week for me that week. No, every time there's a real solidity. I call it Mother Nature's womb.
Oh, yes. Sounds magical.
Yes, it is magical. It is magical.
Magical and Mystica.
Exactly.
All right. So if you guys want to sign up to be Magical and Mystica, right, they can go to your website, deborahhanlon.com. Is that what it is?
You got it.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming back, Deborah. I hope we helped you today with some key takeaways if you are in Goo Phase as well. And thanks for watching. Have a happy day.
Bye.
Bye.